Hello everybody, a quick video here on navigating the Ministry of Education's digital curriculum platform for the new grade 9 de-streamed mathematics course. One of the questions that I've recently been asked quite frequently is, how do I find the curriculum? There are many ways you can get to it. I don't have the site bookmarked, so what I usually do is a quick Google search for Ontario Math Curriculum, and it pops up quickly there. And I'm looking for the result that has DCP in the URL. Right now it's at the top of the page. Sometimes it's a little bit further down. So I'll click on that one. And that takes me to the digital curriculum platform, which looks like this. Now we're interested in the grade 9 de-streamed math course. So I'm going to go click on curriculum and select secondary curriculum. And then I'll scroll down on this page and choose mathematics. And that takes us here, which is the Mathematics 2021 homepage, if you will. And there's some valuable resources here you may wish to check out. I'll also mention that PDF versions of the curriculum documents for the other secondary courses are available here as well. But we're interested in the de-streamed Mathematics Grade 9 course. So we'll click on that, and it takes us here to the course homepage. And most of our navigation here can be done using the left side menu here. And it may be tempting to jump right into the expectations by Strand. But before you do that, I strongly recommend you take a look at the introduction or the front matter here. It really nicely addresses what this curriculum is all about, its goals and vision, the need for de-streaming, as well as its commitment to dismantling systemic discrimination in education. It talks about the importance and the beauty of mathematics in daily life as well there. Some really important and useful information that I strongly recommend you take a look at before diving into the expectations. There are a few other things here you may wish to look at as well, but right now I'm going to go to the expectations by Strand, and this is where we can start to look at the expectations. And you'll see what has happened here is there's been a drop down containing the strands. We have social emotional learning, we have thinking and making connections, number strand, algebra, data, geometry and measurement, and financial literacy. And if you click on one of those strands, for example, algebra, you'll now see the overall expectations for that strand. You'll see them in the left side menu here, and you'll also see them in the main part of the page here. And to see the specific expectations, you can then click on specific expectations for one of the overall expectations. And you can navigate using the left side menu as well when it comes to specific expectations. So if I click on that, I see the specific expectations. So we're looking at overall expectations C1 here, which is algebraic expressions and equations. And here are all the specific expectations. And notice that some of the text is underlined with a dashed line. If you click on that text, you'll see a little pop-up at the bottom of the screen with some information related to that term. So kind of helpful, may be useful. And that is pretty much what's available right now in terms of expectations for the grade 9 de-streamed course. Now there is more coming soon, and I'll tell you about that momentarily. But before I do, I just want to draw your attention to one other thing. If we go down on the left side menu here to resources and click on that, there are some documents here that you might find particularly useful. First one is a PDF of all the overall and specific expectations, kind of nicely laid out in a somewhat condensed form here. Really good for reference when you're doing planning for this course. We also have there the key changes document, and this document compares the new grade 9 de-streamed curriculum to the old grade 9 math curriculum. And you can see what's the same and what's modified, what's been removed, and what's been added. So obviously quite a useful resource there. And finally, I'll draw your attention to the grades 7, 8, 9 alignment chart. And here you can see the continuum of learning for the expectations from grade 7 through grade 8 to grade 9. So also good for planning, seeing what the students have learned in the past for those expectations. And there's some other stuff here that you probably want to check out at some point too, dealing with effective teaching practices for de-streamed grade 9 math, and some webinars coming up that are being offered by the ministry as well. So that's what's available right now for grade 9 de-streamed math on the digital curriculum platform. but there will be more resources added, and I'll show you what those are now. And to do that, I'm going to use the grade 8 curriculum. So I'm just going to quickly navigate over to the grade 8 curriculum so I can show you what that's all about. Okay, so the first thing I'll show you is what can be expected in the near future regarding the expectations. So I'll just go to the algebra strand here. It looks very similar to what we saw with the grade 9 course. Click on specific expectations. But now notice here we have these little drop-down menus here called teacher supports, and when I click on that we can see a bunch of information that may be helpful to teachers, both in terms of the actual mathematical content and some pedagogical ideas. Useful stuff involving visual representations we see here. Perhaps we'll see some instructional tips. Maybe we'll see some examples and teacher prompts, things that might be handy to teachers of the course. And this hopefully will be coming soon to the grade 9 course as well. If I go to the financial literacy section here, this is a little bit more recently updated section. Take a look at this. If I go to money and finances here, same thing we've seen before. Teacher supports drop down is here, but now when I click on it, it's been organized in a different kind of way. We have examples like that. We have key concepts, which looks like this. And we have sample tasks, and these are pretty cool. These are some ideas that teachers can use for tasks in the classroom. Now these are still being added to the elementary curriculum. They're not there. In fact, there's very few of them there right now. So I wouldn't hold your breath on those being in the grade 9 section anytime soon. But hopefully down the road, all that will be there, and it will be very useful. And one more thing that I'll draw your attention to with the elementary curriculum, if I just go back to the Mathematics 2020 elementary curriculum for math homepage here, if I scroll down, there is a box here called resources. And when I click on that, there's some useful documentation here, but this long range plans section here is particularly useful. And what these are suggestions provided by the ministry for how you can kind of lay out the course, how you can sequence the expectations and so on. And they come in two different forms. One is organized by topics, so you might think that's kind of like traditional units in a math course, and it sort of is, but there's a lot of kind of mixing of topics within each unit still. And there's an organization by questions, and this is what our board has adapted for the elementary curriculum. So I'll click on that, and you can see that what's happening here is the whole course is based on these broad questions. You know, how much is that? What's the story? How can we describe the space around us? And the document here tells you kind of how the expectations can be linked to these questions. So each unit is actually based on one of these big questions, a description here as well as a list of the relevant expectations. So that's what our board is following for the elementary curriculum. Now this is not yet available for the grade 9 streamed math curriculum. Apparently it will be available by the end of June. So fingers crossed that arrives. I have started working on our own version of this type of long-range plan or scope and sequence resource that is available on the BHN Math resource, and it is also organized by question. In fact, it uses the same questions as the intermediate plans here, just in a different order. So feel free to check that out. So there it is, kind of a brief overview of the digital curriculum platform for the new grade 9 streamed course, as well as what you can expect to see in the future. I hope you found that helpful, and if you have any questions, feel free to contact me anytime. Take care.